What is going on, my Jets family? I appreciate you guys tuning in, like always, to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. You got me, Harrison Glazer. I'm excited to be with you guys, and you guys know you guys are excited too. The NFL season is upon us. We're about to get into it. It's about to happen. It's about to get real. So, first things first, if you guys can, if you haven't, I ask that you please subscribe to the channel. If you look in the bottom corner, right over here, I believe, yes, over here you have a corner, the logo for Take Flight Media. Please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciated. But the topic of today's show, like we said before, is that the NFL season is upon us. We're almost there. This Sunday, the regular season begins. And we've had, as you guys know, lots of heartache over the years, lots of, dealing with things, but it's different. It's different because of the people in charge and because of who we have at quarterback. So my message for today, I see a bunch of you guys coming in. Appreciate you guys being there. Like always, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being part of the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. But the message for today's show is very simple. The message for today's show is our future starts right now. Right now. Because as we've talked about, you guys know how I feel about Zach Wilson. I mean, so many things can be said about Zach Wilson, but you guys who have been here, I see you guys coming in now. You guys who have been here since the beginning, the ones who have been, tuning into my podcast since back when I started. You guys remember my first episode ever was on QB eval, was on what I liked in Zach Wilson that I didn't see in the other prospects, those cerebral aspects, remember, that we talked about. So see more people coming in, see some comments. Appreciate you guys being here. Kevin's here. What's up, Kevin? Tom's here. Appreciate you, my man. Like he says, it's finally here. The season's upon us. And that's the whole point. That is literally, my apology, guys. Let me put my phone on mute. That is literally the whole message of what we're getting at. And like we talked about, you guys know how I felt about Zach Wilson. This was the guy I wanted. This was the quarterback I wanted. You guys tuning in, I'm figuring you guys wanted too, because I was talking nonstop about him. Remember, I had that episode a while back on my eval of what I specifically look for, the things that I like in quarterbacks, those cerebral aspects, like we see with Zach, that I didn't really see in any of the other prospects. Remember, we talked about the idea of a system quarterback. Remember, we got into the whole what makes it a system quarterback, these great systems they're part of. Teams like Clemson, Ohio State, I don't know, but Alabama. All of these teams are top-ranked teams. Now, yeah, their quarterbacks have looked good. Mac Jones has looked good, but it's hard to get a gauge. Zach Wilson did these things with, again, I'm not saying BYU's a bad school. Don't take that out of this. I'm not saying that BYU's a bad program by any means. But there's only a couple, you guys know, of those schools that are always at the top. The Ohio States, the Clemsons, the Alabamas. There's really only a few of them. And they have great programs with, great not just players, obviously they get good players in, but they have good coaching. Like, remember, we talked about when I did my QE eval podcast, remember, shouting back to that. Remember the safeties I talked about, the fail safes built into the systems. They're excellent systems. BYU is not a bad system by any means, but Zach took a school that hadn't have been ranked and wouldn't have been ranked without him and puts them in contention, makes them basically almost go undefeated and be nationally ranked. That is mainly all because of him. And again, those aspects I look for, just watching him on the television, just watching him play. Remember, the biggest thing I mentioned with you guys was that pocket awareness, that anticipation, which we've seen. His ability in the pocket to navigate, to understand alignments, matchups, how defenders match up with his certain offensive linemen, how certain wide receivers, how they move. And we're seeing that with Corey Davis. We're seeing that chemistry being built. We saw that week 2. We saw that, this is his first, obviously Zach's a rookie. It's his first season with Corey. We're seeing that really, starting to jive. We really, really are. We saw it week 2 again, where Corey had a great game, was open a lot. A lot of the throws were, anticipated. And if you look and you go back and watch based on how Corey moves, everyone, plays differently. We've talked about that. That's the ability that Zach has. And like we talked about, again, just that pocket awareness, it comes to even more than that. And it comes to what he does when the play breaks down. That is the beauty of what I really saw in Zach Wilson. That, again, this unbelievable pocket awareness, ability to, read plays, reads, progressions, again, understand those alignments on the offensive line and break literally simultaneously with pressure at many times. But more importantly, that breaking simultaneously, anticipation. That anticipation is what we really haven't seen as much, because the preseason, you get to see a little bit of it, but he only played a couple of drives. They were massively, massively scripted. They were. It's a rookie quarterback in his first drives ever. Obviously, there was maybe a couple of, options built in, but it was very scripted for what he had to do. When it begins, when it starts this Sunday, there's going to be a plan. But as we've seen most of the time, especially in the NFL, when you get to this level, plans go out the window. Plans disappear. What Zach did in those situations is what makes him great. Will make him great, my apologies, and sets him apart from everybody else. Again, we see that great pocket awareness. We're going to see more of it, especially in those kind of situations. Love your guys' comments. See them there. Appreciate it, guys. Love it. Love all the things you guys are saying. But you guys remember how hyped I was about Zach. And we got him. We got our quarterback, the guy I wanted. I'm assuming, again, most of you guys wanted, because you've been tuning in. You've been listening. You've been here. You've been, hearing the things I've been saying about Zach, the things I liked about him, the things I'm mentioning right now. We're going to get to see them when this regular season begins. And I say, our future starts now, because obviously, Zach, I feel, is the guy. I feel like he's going to grow on the job, progress. But that doesn't matter if you don't have good coaching. That doesn't matter if the right people aren't in place, if they're bringing in good talent. And for the first time in maybe ever, because as you guys know, we've had situations where maybe we've had a good GM and we had a question with the head coach, or the GM was, good at bringing in free agents, but bad at drafting. There was always some kind of a hole. And again, I trying not to get myself too hyped, but this is it. Like, as we've talked about, as you guys remember, going back to my episode all on Joe Douglas, everything starts from the top. It trickles down. That's why I remember I'd written the article about the owners with the trickle down dysfunction, because of the way, remember, the circus that was designed with McCagnon coming in with Gaze. We're not even going to get into that. Not even part of the conversation. But the point is, it trickles down. It comes from the top. And Joe Douglas has the keys. The Johnsons had, and I thanked them on it. As you guys remember, I don't know if you remember, I literally thanked Woody Johnson on Twitter. And he actually said thanks back, which is pretty cool. So I guess he saw it. But I said, thank you for, taking a slice of that humble pie like we talked about. Understanding that, yeah, maybe you love football and you get it, but it's not working. Whatever you're doing is not working. And as we'd seen in the past, there have been bad situations. They've literally put us in bad situations, hired the wrong people, made the bad decisions. It goes on and on and on. And we saw that dysfunction going. Now, with Joe in charge, leading the pack, we don't have to get into it. We've talked about his draftability, what he does in the drafts, his ability to find talent. As we've talked about, everyone knows top picks. Everyone knows the first round guys. Heck, probably everyone in here right now, you guys could probably tell me stats, even on the first and second round guys in next year's draft. And it's a year off. Everyone can tell you about those guys. But the later round guys, the Brandon Echols, the Jason Pinnocks, the Hamza Nasruddins, the guys that, the Jonathan Marshalls, the guys that Joe finds. He finds guys that maybe weren't on someone else's radar, or didn't get coached properly, or reach their full potential for one reason or another, didn't fit in a system, whatever it is, or a smaller school. We see that so many times. A guy who balls out with a smaller school but doesn't get recognized. Look at what Joe's done in this draft. I mean, just going back, all right, CB1 is Bryce Hall. And Bryce Hall, as we've talked about, looked like a CB1 last year. He was a 5th round pick in last year's draft. Hamza Nasruddin, he's going to show you guys. I've talked about him. I can't stop talking about him. Him, Jamie and Sherwood's got a lot of potential. Much bigger on Nasruddin, though. That linebacker core has potential. At corner, we talked about with Bryce Hall, the other outside corner. Looks like it's either going to be Brandon Echols, who we've talked about, looks very good, excellent speed, excellent vertical, excellent everything, really. He was a late 6th round pick. Isaiah Dunn was undrafted. Bryce Huff, one of the edge rushers we got, undrafted. Jonathan Franklin Myers, picked up from another team. This is what Joe does. We're building to success. So, yes, we have the quarterback, but all the other things are there. We have the GM that understands talent, that knows how to draft, that is building a team for sustainable success. Not just, remember, like Maccagnan in 2015. We talked about that, a guy that doesn't know how to draft, but builds a decent free agency team. Well, yeah, that's great for 1 year, maybe 2, but it's not sustainable. Joe is building sustainability. Remember, we went from one of the poorest teams with no cap room, thanks to Maccagnan, to Joe making us the 3rd richest team in the NFL. We have the GM. We believe in our new head coach. Our new head coach, we know the mantra, all gas, no brake. Like, this guy is a motivator. Players want to play for him. Almost all of our free agents either came here because of Joe Douglas or because of Robert Saleh. Like, that's just a fact. Curry because of Douglas. Lawson, unfortunately, sucks what happened with Lawson. But Lawson and Corey Davis because of Saleh across the board. We have the right people in the right places. But again, it doesn't matter if you don't have the quarterback. And guys, we've talked about it. You know how I feel. Zach is the real deal. This kid has the traits that lead to greatness. Now, I'm not Zach Wilson, so I can't say he's 100% going to be great. That's all on him. But everything needed is there. And think about what we've heard from camp. Everything, I talked about before the draft. Remember all those crazy rumors coming out, me pointing out the opposite. He was dedicated, hardworking. I showed quotes from his pro day where he said all he does is football, 24/7, eat, sleep, breathe football. That's all I do. We've seen it. We've seen it in action. I've even said, I pointed that out on Twitter the other day. I said, no one's been, more hyped on this kid than me of what he can become. But he's even blowing my mind in how fast he's learning, with how fast he's progressing. And that's what we're hearing from Saleh, from Douglas, everyone, like across the board. Whenever they talk about Zach, they talk about learning. I don't think anyone has talked about Zach without using the word learning. Honestly, go look it up. You guys know I bring you the press conferences every day. I try to bring you as many press conferences as I can, right from Saleh, right from Joe. Every time they talk about Zach Wilson, always learning. Always. He's learning. They talk about how he's dedicated. They talk about how he's a film junkie, how he studies the game. He wants to get better. Remember all the things we've talked about. He doesn't care, he wants to, sorry, my apologies. He wants to know why the play broke down. He wants to know everything down to the most meticulous detail. He's detailed. He's dedicated. He wants to get it right. He's a perfectionist. And that is what you want. So again, what is needed to be great? This kid has all those things I mentioned that we've talked about. Don't even need to get into it because it's a whole long conversation. Those cerebral traits we've talked about, those things that separate them from the guys that have a great arm, throw a great football, but that's it. Zach has all those other boxes. Everything is there. Remember, like we said, the beauty of Zach Wilson is what he does when the play breaks down. Again, love that kid's pocket awareness, love the anticipation, but when the play collapses, when he is in a crunch situation, that's when he shines. That's when this kid shows who he is. Because think about it in the past. That's been our issue with really all of our quarterbacks and all the quarterbacks that don't become great. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, everybody's got a plan. Everybody, has a game plan. But again, like we've talked about, think about back to what Mike Tyson said. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's exactly how it works. Exactly how it works. So yeah, they all got a plan. Every quarterback, every coach has a plan. But it breaks down. Something goes wrong. You have to adapt to something. We had the guy before who couldn't adapt to anything. You got to adapt to something. Zach, that is where he thrives. So as the regular season begins and the unscriptedness happens, the plays break down, where he has to make decisions. That's where it's going to be beautiful. That's where we're going to see what this kid can really, really do. And as I was saying, it's that simple. All the pieces are there. He has everything he needs to be great. He has to, as I tweeted out the other day, he has to want to be great. He has to want, I believe it was, I think it was Blake Griffin who said it. You have to fall in love with the process of becoming great. And if, again, when we look at Zach, always talk about his learning, his film dedication, his studying the craft, wanting to get better. He wants to get better. He really, really does. And I believe it, man. I really do. So, like we said, we have a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback. We have a rookie OC with Mike LaFleur. So this is a new era of Jets football right now. This is, again, I hope it goes well. I really, really do. But no matter what happens, this is a new era of Jets football. A new era of Jets football begins on Sunday with this Mike LaFleur offensive system, with this whole team that Joe Douglas has built, that he's put together. And remember, we talked about it. He came in at the end of 2019 when the team was already built. He did as much as he can in his first year. We've watched him build through the drafts. We've watched him build these teams. What he did in this free agency, because he couldn't do it in the prior free agency, because he didn't have the money. This is where the team starts to come together. And we're going to see the greatness coming from Zach. And again, like we talked about before, it's when the play breaks down. That's when we're going to see the beauty of Zach Wilson, when he needs to make those great throws and make those great decisions by himself. Reads, progressions, understanding alignment. It's all what he does. And I am excited. And like we said, guys, our future, the beginning is now. It is 100% now. Like we said, new OC, new head coach. This is the beginning. And before we move on quickly, we talk about the team Joe Douglas has built. We talk about a true number one, Corey Davis. Our last wide receiver one was Brashad Perriman. We got a real wide receiver one now in Corey Davis, Elijah Moore. I mean, let's just look at Elijah Moore for a second. Just Elijah Moore at Ole Miss. And let's keep in mind, DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown come from Ole Miss. So two great wide receivers from Ole Miss right there. Now, Elijah Moore had 3 200-yard games, which is more than anybody in Ole Miss. DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown never did that. He also had over 1,700 slot yards, not just regular yards, 1,700 yards from the slot in just the last 2 years alone, most in college football. Nobody even comes close, more than anybody. In his whole career, he's had 25 red zone targets. He didn't drop one. Elijah Moore, just think about this for a sec. Elijah Moore has never, ever, ever dropped the ball in the red zone. Never, ever. It's never happened. He had last year close to 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, which was the most ever by not just Ole Miss, forget Ole Miss, the most ever by any SEC player in their first 8 games. And his total receiving yards at Ole Miss, total 2,441. That's third in Ole Miss's history. So again, we talk about what we've seen from Ole Miss. We talk about the DK Metcalfs. We talk about the A.J. Browns. They didn't do this. They didn't put up what we're talking about with Elijah Moore here. So we see the talent that's come in. Everything from the left tackle, Mekhi Becton, the staple of that line, to, like we just said, Elijah Moore, getting Michael Carter later in the draft. CB2 could be Brandon Echols. You guys know I've talked about how much I like Echols and how much I really think he could fit there too. I've liked Jason Pinnock a lot, but unfortunately, he hasn't shown. He's gotten an opportunity, but he hasn't shown as much. Echols really has. Isaiah Dunn has the opportunity, but I'll be honest, we talked about it. I thought he was just ass in the preseason. Just absolute crap. I mean, he was good before pads went on, but he was bad. Like, I made a couple of notes of he just, wow, like really botched plays. Like, really botched. So I like Brandon Echols a lot. And again, a 6th round pick. So we have the guy at the top building the team for success. So next year, we have tons more picks. Remember, next year, thanks to trading away Chris Herndon, with that, we now have 7 picks in the first 4 rounds alone. with 4 of those picks in the first 2 rounds. 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. We're building, we're cultivating. And what are we building around? We're building around Zach Wilson. We're building around this quarterback that, yes, has a cannon of an arm. Yes, has very, very good accuracy. And like we've talked about, throws receivers open. Again, knowing how to put touch on a ball, certain velocity, putting the ball in certain windows and angles, and making the right decision to not allow your receiver to get murdered. All of that. But even more importantly, we talk about what he looks like in the pocket. We talk about the awareness he has, the anticipation that's innate. And what that leads to, the breakdown of plays. I'm telling you guys, that's going to be it. We haven't seen it as much in the preseason. We really haven't, because everything's been 1,000% scripted. But once it opens up, once Zach Wilson steps on that field in the regular season, and like we said, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. When it starts to open up and Zach's got to make decisions for himself, unlike former quarterbacks who couldn't do that, that's Zach Wilson's best trait. That is by far what makes Zach Wilson the most special. The most special. Like Jeremy says, no calmness around today. Man, you should be hyped. I'm hyped. I can't stay too hyped because I'll have a heart attack by Friday and I'll miss Sunday's game. So I got to keep my hype within reason. But man, I am hyped. I am hyped because, again, we got our guy. This is who I know everyone had different feelings, but if you guys were all with me, this is the guy we wanted. This is the guy remember I said since December. No one looks as good as him except Trevor Lawrence. He was blowing everybody away. And even like, remember we talked about, remember with those system quarterbacks, remember I said Clemson has a great system. Dabo Swinney, great talent, great system. He was part of it. Granted, again, we're not saying he's not a excellent quarterback, but he's part of an outstanding system that, makes it easier for him. So, man, Zach's the real deal. This kid is the real deal, what we talked about, with just always learning, always getting better. But one thing I do want to address before we go, and I'm going to type it out because I want you guys to remember this. So I am going to do it in caps. Just give me 1 second. And I think this is a sentiment we can all agree with. And actually, I did a take on this a little while back. It was a video take. It was before the preseason started, so I don't think anyone wanted to hear it yet. It was about the Carolina Panther game. I don't think anyone wanted to hear it yet. But my message to remind everybody is, as hyped as we are, do remember, like I've said, that Zach Wilson is a rookie quarterback. Remember, we wanted that rookie reset, and we got the rookie reset. I think this kid's going to be great, but there are going to be learning curves. There are going to be, him making bad decisions, learning from those decisions, hopefully, and never making that bad decision again. But there's going to be bad decisions. And if you think about it, as a rookie quarterback, you kind of want that a little bit. Like, granted, I'm not saying I want him to have a bad game, and I don't want him to throw any interceptions. But right when he does, what's going to be so important is, what does he do next? What does he do on that next drive? How does he come out? Is he all in his head? Or is he like a goldfish? What are we talking about? Like a goldfish. Goldfish, shortest memory in the world. Does he come back in, ready to go? Nothing ever happened. So just reminding everybody that I do all that hype I was saying. Our future is 100% now. Our future starts now with Joe Douglas building this team, cultivating talent, building sustainable success, built around Zach Wilson, who has the potential to be as great as anybody, with a head coach that the players love, that motivates them, that wants them to be the best version of themselves. So without a question, our future starts now. But I do just want to remind that Zach Wilson is a rookie quarterback. So if he doesn't have a great first game, and let's say Sam Darnold does, because again, Sam Darnold is a fourth-year quarterback. My apologies. Sam Darnold is a fourth-year quarterback. I mean, he hasn't looked good up to this point, and he had bad seasons the last 2, but he is a fourth-year quarterback. So we saw him look pretty good in the preseason. He's got good options. And he's got Moore. He's got Anderson. Other options as well. I'm thinking of top of my head at the moment. But there is talent on that team. So I do believe Zach Wilson's going to be great, and I think we can beat him. I definitely do. And I was going to ask you guys, so I'm planning on doing a short episode for, before the Panthers game, like 5 things. I'm going to come up with, 5 things on offense, 5 things on defense, the breakdowns of what we need to do to win the game and what we have to stop Carolina from doing. So my question for you guys is, would you rather me do that on Thursday, or would you rather me do that on Friday? So that's my question for you guys. I don't know if you guys want to have a say in it. Figure I'd give you guys the option. I love giving you guys the option because, as you guys know, I appreciate all you here. I see shout out all you guys. Shout out to Salmon. Shout out to Tom, Jeremy, Kevin, Noel, all you guys. It's Snoopy. Really appreciate all of you guys. Really appreciate all you. But my question for you guys is that episode. Would you want me to do it on Thursday? Do you have a preference? Would you rather me do it on Friday? If it's Thursday, it would be more at night, like probably like 7 p.m. If it's Friday, as you guys know, I'm on the Weapons Hot podcast. So definitely would recommend checking that out. But that would be more in the middle of the day. So if we did it on Friday, it'd be more like probably 4 or so. So Jeremy says, shout out to Jeremy. He says, got to be early if it's Friday, like before 10 p.m. Well, 10 p.m. is pretty early. About 10 p.m. is pretty late. So it's pretty easy to stay above that. See Kevin saying, shout out Kevin saying he'll be at the game on Sunday. That's pretty sweet, man. I don't know if maybe you're living in Carolina. Unfortunately, I can't get down there. But that's exciting, man. That's really, really exciting. So all you Jet fans are going to be at the game. Make noise for us. Like, that's my challenge for you guys. Like, it's an away game. You're going to be in someone else's stadium. Represent us, guys. Like, make noise. Be loud. Be proud. Don't let the Carolina fans shut you up. Like, make your noise. Be yourself. Have fun with it, guys. So I see a bunch of you guys saying Thursday, a bunch of you guys saying Friday. We'll figure it out. So it seems like some of you guys are saying Thursday, some of you guys are saying Friday, but I'm looking forward to bringing that to you guys. We'll do a quick episode breaking down the beginning of the game because this episode is, again, all about one thing. It's about our future, and our future is starting right now. So I see your guys' comments. Shout out to all you guys. Want to bring some of them up quick before we head out, before we, call quits for today. Let's see what you guys got. Appreciate all you guys. Like always, thank you guys for being here. Like Tom says, shout out to Tom. He's saying, got to admit, it does feel different this year. You're 34, man. We're pretty close in age. I'm 32. So we're basically like the same age. You're 34. I'm 32. So we can both relate. We both grew up in the Chad Pennington era. And that's kind of like why I was saying, I was young when Chad Pennington played, but I remember that potential. Like, I remember how my dad felt. I remember, and I think I've mentioned to you guys, I was a young kid at that first game when Chad came in. Like, I was like, had to be like 11. Like, it was 2000. So I was like 11, I want to say. I was young, but I remember it because Vinny comes out, he gets hurt. This guy comes in. Man, he just looked unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. Like, the most accurate throws I'd ever seen. Led the team with purpose, with poise, controlled the pocket, made great reads, great decisions. Boom, touchdown. Boom, touchdown. Boom, touchdown. I remember I turned to my dad. I was like, this guy is going to win us a Super Bowl. And as you guys know, we've talked about this. I firmly said that if Chad Pennington had never got hurt, I do firmly believe he would have been as good as Tom Brady, if not better. That's always been my feeling, and I still feel that way. I feel that Chad Pennington was able to keep playing because he was one of the most accurate quarterbacks to ever play the game. Even when the dude's got like a noodle hanging on and he's like lobbing it, it's still going where it needs to go. One of the most accurate QBs to ever play, would have been one of the greatest if he hadn't gotten hurt. Man, I haven't been this hyped since then, to be honest. Like, when we got Mark Sanchez, I was happy. We traded up. We got a quarterback, but he wasn't like, we knew Mark Sanchez had a lot of interceptions in college. He wasn't this like heralded thing. And he had some great years. Definitely when he had a team around him, he played very well. And same thing with Sam Darnold. You guys know how I felt with Sam Darnold. I, didn't hate him. I didn't hate the pick whatsoever. And I eventually became a fan of his. As you guys know, we talked about it in 2018 and 2019. I became a fan. He won me over because I liked the potential he had and I thought he had potential. Unfortunately, it didn't develop and it just turned into bad decision-making and bad reads. And we're not going to get into that. But I never felt like I really have honestly in my lifetime. And Tom, you may agree because, again, I was really young when Pennington was there. And I just remember how great I felt he was, but I was really young at the time. I've never felt this way about a Jets quarterback really ever. Because, again, I was too young. Like, I truly feel that Zach Wilson can be as good as anybody. I truly feel that way. And as you guys remember, that was finally what helped me move on from Sam. Like you guys remember, I made the joke like, give me one sec. My apologies, guys. But you guys remember I was making the joke that like I was like Terrell Owens in that gif where I'm like, that's my quarterback. Like he's your guy, man. Like he's a young guy. He's not doing well, but the team isn't doing well. There's no team around him. I was supporting him. I felt he could still be the guy. What really helped me understand was when I realized that, with a talented team, with a good coach, with good players around him, yeah, maybe Sam Darnold can be good, but he's never going to be great. He's never going to be a top 5, top 10 consistent quarterback in the NFL. It's not going to happen. Okay, he can maybe be good. You can maybe have him be good. Same thing like Mark Sanchez was. Mark Sanchez was good when he had talent around him, but Mark Sanchez was never one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Sam Darnold will never be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Zach Wilson can be. That was the first time I saw this kid play. You guys remember I talked about that when I did my QB eval. I was literally like, I'm not even joking. I was literally like drinking a beer. I handed it to my fiance, and she was concerned because I wouldn't take my eyes off the TV. I was like, I was just blown away because I was just amazed at what I saw with what I look for. When I look at quarterbacks, let me talk about it. I'm not always looking downfield. I'm looking in the pocket. I'm looking at the reads. I'm looking at his eyes. I'm looking at how he moves based on how the defenders move around him. I was just like, I'm biting my fist. Like I was just in love. Like this was the guy I wanted. This was the guy so many people wanted. Guys, it is different. It 100% feels different. Like Kevin says, and if you guys remember, that was the second thing I pointed out about Zach. I couldn't shut up about the pocket awareness. Like, I'll be honest. Like, that's like everything else is here. And his pocket awareness is like my hands don't reach. Like, it's like all the way up here. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. Remember, I compared it to Russell Wilson, which is why I know everyone loves the Patrick Mahomes comparison because of the arm. And as we've joked about, that's what everyone looks at. Everyone, when they evaluate quarterbacks, look at the arm strength. And as we talked about, the Chad Pennington example is the perfect one. I love arm strength, but it's not even close to the top thing I look for. Not even close. So Mike White doesn't have the strongest arm, but they like him as a QB too. So there's plenty of quarterbacks you can name without strong arms. But Zach Wilson has that strong arm. But again, we look at Russell Wilson. There's barely been many quarterbacks as innate in the pocket as him. We've seen his ability when the pocket is just gone, his ability to scramble out. And like we see, like I mentioned with Zach, improvise. And that's the key. That's the magic. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe a little. I think we saw it like twice. I think we saw it twice in the preseason. But now, like we said, when the chips are on the table, when the cards are down, when it's all the real starters in the game, when it matters, there's going to be punches in the jaw. It's going to throw your game plan off alignment. And that's where Zach's going to shine. Again, just like we see, and my comparison's been consistent, forget the arm strength. Just like we see in Russell Wilson. When that pocket breaks down, when that play breaks down, that's where he shines. That's where the magic happens. That's where he falls out, reads the field, and throws to somebody 40 yards downfield that is somehow open because they're not being covered because of the way he broke away from the pocket. There's so much. You can just go on and on and on. But that's what we're going to see. And that's going to be the beauty of it. But that second thing, though, Kevin, so I was kind of getting at, the second thing I loved about him wasn't even arm strength. It was like what you're mentioning. I'd said he throws receivers open almost perfectly. And I explained that. When I say that, I mean two things. One, I mean he knows the kind of velocity to put on the ball. If the guy's 2, 4, 5 yards away from him, he's not throwing it with all of his strength to freaking put a hole in his chest. And also, if he's a receiver has broken stride over a corner, he's going to throw a touch pass that comes in over the top. That's what I love about Zach. Those two things. Putting the ball in the right location so that, one, the defender can't make a play on it, but two, your receiver's also not going to get freaking murdered, and also putting the right kind of velocity behind the ball. Knowing, like we saw in practice, when to put a speed ball or a touch or whatever. Knowing the velocity to put behind the football. So that is without a doubt, like you say, throwing the receivers without them causing to break stride. That's going to be the beauty we see of Zach. And like we're seeing with Corey, it takes a little while for that chemistry to develop. But even by week 2, we saw it. We saw massive changes from week 1 to week 2 in the preseason with his connection and chemistry with Corey Davis. Wait, what happens after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? This is the beauty of it. So it's going to be, I can't wait, guys. I just literally can't wait. And like you said, Jeremy, exactly the same thing. Going to own this league, it's again that concept of he can be great. Zach Wilson, if he puts the work in, which he's doing, if he has the right mentality, which it seems he does, he can be as good as anybody. And I stand by that. Zach Wilson can be as good as any quarterback, anybody you can mention. We couldn't say that in the past. We can say that now. So Salmon makes a good point. And that's kind of like what I was saying before, Salmon. Shout out to Salmon mentioning, if we lose week 1. That was my take. I'm going to find it. I'm actually going to find it and retweet it because I think it was like before the preseason started. Like it was like way back. Like it might have honestly been like end of May, like beginning of June. But I literally said, I was thinking about that, yeah, Sam Darnold has struggled massively, but we said in a good system with a good team and a good coach, he can be good. Again, probably not great, but good. Well, as we've talked about, and we talked about how we appreciated that Joe Douglas sent him to Carolina because, as Sam being a young guy that was kind of, even though he made a lot of mistakes himself, he was never done any favors by the Jets. Now he was done a favor. He's put in a position to succeed with a head coach that should have been his head coach instead of Adam Gase, building a team around him to his strengths with a decent offensive line and quality wide receivers. So, yeah, Sam can look good, and there's also a chance that Zach may not look good. It's very, very possible. But my message to all of you, and I'll get up if I need to. I'll beg. My message is don't listen to the media if we lose week 1. Because if we lose week 1, what the story is going to be. 1,000% what the story is going to be. The story is going to be that we never should have moved on from Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson is a bust. That's what these idiots are going to say after 1 game. And I'm saying, don't listen to them. He's a rookie. Remember, we wanted the rookie reset. We got the rookie reset. We have to approach it as such. Sam was a shit or get off the pot situation because he was a 4th-year quarterback. Yeah, it's shit or get off the pot at that point. So Zach is a rookie. There's going to be growing pains. Again, I'm blown away with how fast he's learning. I told you, I think this kid has greatness written all over him. And as hyped as I've been on him, I feel like he's learning faster than I even thought he would. I feel like he's progressing at a rate that blows even my mind. But again, just keep that in mind. If we lose week 1, if the Panthers and Sam Darnold look good, and even if Zach Wilson has a good game, they're still going to say all that negative stuff. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. My message is, you guys remember, I think it was 2 podcasts ago, I do believe Zach Wilson will be great, but it probably won't be immediately. It most likely won't be immediately. I hope it's immediate, but it most likely won't be. Okay? So, love your guys' comments. Again, appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. And that's exactly it, Snoopy. Like we were just saying, that's exactly the point. Shout out, man. The kid's a stud. Really believe we have a future top 3 quarterback. And that was, again, what helped me move on from Sam. Because I felt the kid's young. We did him dirty. He didn't have talent or a good team. Had Adam Gase, everything working against him. Though, again, it wasn't all on our team. As I mentioned, you can't be the worst quarterback in the NFL and have it all on everybody else. So a lot of it was on him. But I felt like he wasn't done right. That's what helped me realize it the most. And honestly, I've said it to everyone. Everyone, if you guys remember, back in, it was like, I think it was like end of October, November-ish, somewhere between like November, December. Everyone was like, wait, what happened to Sam Darnold? I thought you were a big Sam Darnold guy. Well, yeah, I believed in him. But Zach, man, Zach just blew my mind. Like, and you guys remember, I figured I never really got on the Trevor Lawrence hype. Remember, I kept saying Deshaun Watson did the same things Trevor Lawrence did in college. And everyone was like, how dare I? Like, how could you? But I was saying that. I was like, Deshaun was just as good. Like, I mean, not that Trevor isn't great and doing amazing things, but I just didn't get this heralded, like Messiah, let's bow down thing. It just didn't make sense to me. But then I decided, as we talked about, to look into the other quarterbacks. This is it, man. Like we just said, all those things we talked about, all those things I mentioned with the pocket awareness, the ability to improvise. Like I said, think about Russell Wilson. None of these other guys had that. None of them had that ability. Zach had it in spades, in absolute spades. So again, I appreciate all you guys. Appreciate your comment. Tom's got his point. More, please. Man, that's just the magic of Joe Douglas, what Joe Douglas can do. I mean, he trades up to get AVT, the best guard in this draft. Like we've talked about, a player that you could put on like when Quentin Nelson was drafted, when Brandon Scherf was drafted. Like that's the caliber of offensive guard we're talking about here. He trades up to get him, still gets Elijah Moore, still gets this guy like we mentioned. 3 200-yard games, over 1,700 slot yards in just the last 2 years, more than anyone in college football, never dropped a red zone target, all the numbers. And as you guys know, there's a chance Jamison Crowder may not play week 1. Now, as we know, he tested positive for COVID. He's in the right protocols. There's a chance. I believe someone did the math. I think it's like Saturday or Sunday is like the day where like he can finally, if he tests negative, be able to be available. So it really comes down to the wire. He could play, but there's a good chance he doesn't. And guys, Elijah Moore is going to get that opportunity week 1. And if he blows up like we expect him to be, and he's just everything we expect, Jamison Crowder may not ever get it back. And remember, we're not saying Crowder won't see the field. You guys remember my take on this. Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, and Elijah Moore are the 3 best wide receivers on this team. So why are they not on the field at the same time? They should be. Jamison Crowder and Elijah Moore are either going to be next to each other on the inside or one on one hash, one on the other, both on the inside, but on different, one on the left, one on the right. They're both going to be on the field together. Elijah Moore and Jamison Crowder are both going to see the field together. They're both going to be dynamic. And you guys remember my take. My take was every NFL team out there, all you other 31 teams, I dare you to stop it. Like that's my challenge for you. I dare you to stop when the 2 of them are on the field at the same time. That dynamic combination. So shout out to Tommy. Appreciate you, man. See you here. Appreciate all you guys. Jets gang, see you here now. Matthias, appreciate you, bro. Matthias is saying, can't wait to see Zach play. It's not about wins, it's development. You're 100% correct, man. And you remember, Matthias, that was literally my take. Remember, I'd said I could see it going either way. I could see, Zach coming out amazing, the team looking great, everyone else not ready for us. Because, again, they can't be. It's hard to be ready for this team. And because, again, it's a new team, and we could win a lot of games. But at the same time, rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, rookie OC, there's going to be, development. There's going to be chemistry happening. So my big take was, I honestly expect us to land somewhere between probably around 8 wins. That's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking 6 might be a little low, maybe somewhere from like 7 and 9. I'm thinking that's our area right now, between 7 and 9. Which is great for a rookie quarterback. But again, the things that matters, like Matthias points out, well, Zach threw an interception. How did he look the next drive? Did he come back in with the memory like a goldfish? Did he throw a touchdown the next drive? Is the chemistry working well with the team? Is him and Corey Davis developing? That's what we want to see. If everything's moving in the right direction. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. If we see this team, chemistry starting to happen, everything moving in the right direction, everything jiving, that's what we want to see. And like Matthias says, same thing. Next year, 10 more picks. Remember, that's what I was saying just before about Joe Douglas. Everything comes from the guy in charge. And we've seen it in the past where we had a good quarterback, but we couldn't put a team together. So I see Jeremy. Jeremy's got his nicknames for Elijah Moore. I see we're trying to come up with Elijah Moore nicknames. Maybe we will, guys. Maybe we will. But Matthias, man, that's 100% correct. Joe Douglas, he's building for long term. And that's what, remember, we talked about before. That's what brings us back to the topic. Remember the topic for today. Our future begins this Sunday. It really does. Again, with everything we talked about, this will be The last thing I'll leave you guys with. Remember that quick summation with our GM, the guy at top in charge, knowing how to draft, cultivating talent, building a team for success, putting the right people in place. Robert Saleh now here. Zach Wilson, what he can become. This is it, guys. This is the beginning. This is the moment right now. This is the moment where we're going to turn around one day and say, well, we were there. We were there in the beginning when that Jet dynasty happened. We were there. And this is going to be it, guys. Take it in. Feel it. Live in this moment. Because this is it. This is our moment. Our future starts this Sunday. Our future with Joe Douglas continuing to build this team for success. Robert Saleh leading this team for success. And Zach Wilson at the helm. And as we said, just wait, guys. Just wait for those plays to break down. Just wait for Zach Wilson to improvise, like we saw with Russell Wilson. Improvise. When that happens, beautiful. It's going to be beauty that we're going to see. So again, guys, our future is now. So I want to thank you guys, like always, for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Like I said, we're going to have a special episode. Probably wind up being Thursday, but it's either going to be Thursday night or Friday afternoon. So like Thursday at 7, same time, or Friday probably like maybe 3 or 4-ish, give or take around there, where, we'll break down the keys to the success for the Jets versus Carolina, how we match up with them, how our offense matches up with our defense. But this is it, man. Remember, this is our beginning. Our future starts right now. Zach Wilson, he has the potential to be as great as any quarterback, anybody that's been there. And we saw the kid is dedicated, always learning, always getting better, honing his craft, film junkie. He wants to be great. And Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, they're going to allow him to. So I want to thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like Jeremy says, let's go. So I wish you guys a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday and take care. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go Jets.